Here's our fermentation corner where I have all my hot sauces. I still have, it looks like 4 jars of hot sauce fermenting here. This one here is the gochu pepper sauce that we started, and that's been about 3 weeks since we started it, and you can see the little bubble is still floating. I released the pressure by opening the jar to let that go down last night, and this morning it's already floating, so we know that the fermentation is still going on. So I'm going to leave it another few more weeks before I bottle it up for you. And I did want to show you one thing you might see in your hot sauce. So if you can see that, there's a little bit of a kind of a whitish film on the top. That's called cam yeast, and it's totally normal. It doesn't happen all the time. Some people will scrape it off, but it's not harmful. As long as the stuff on the top doesn't look fuzzy, or if it's black, that's definitely a bad thing, and that is mold, and you may want to try scraping it off, or if it comes back you might have to just toss the whole thing. But I've never had that happen with any of my pepper ferments. I think it happens more often when you do a blend, or if you blend it before you ferment it. So I always do the chopping of the peppers, but some people like to do a mash by blending it and then fermenting it. And I don't like doing that because you have more risk of mold if you do that, and you have to use a higher % of salt when you do that. So I've had good luck this method, and that's what I would recommend for anyone starting out with fermented hot sauces. So we'll check back in a couple weeks and see how we're doing. We are back in the fermentation corner after 2 months of starting our fermentation here of the Korean gochu peppers. And I've also got 2 other pepper ferments going, one in a quart jar and one in a half-gallon jar. But our Korean gochus are in this pint jar here, and we know that it's ready to bottle because this fermentation lid here, this little guy here, is not floating. So it's been sitting on the bottom for about 2 weeks, so we know that the fermentation has slowed down enough for us to be able to bottle. So let's get some bottles ready. One of the most important things is that you have clean and sterile equipment. So I'm going to be sterilizing. First I'm going to wash these with some soap and water. This is just dish soap and some hot water. And I'm just going to shake that up. If you have a bristle brush that will fit into these little hole, little openings, then you can use that, but I don't have one, so we're just going to shake it really good. Make sure it's clean. So these bottles haven't been used before, so they shouldn't be too dirty. And then we'll just rinse that out. And we also want to make sure that we wash the lid and the little insert. Okay, that should be good. Now we want to sterilize this equipment. One thing that you can do is boil these in water for 10 minutes, but I have an easier way. I use this surface sanitizer called Star San. So this is used for beer making, and mead making is what I use it for, but anyone that makes beer will probably have that on hand. It makes things a lot easier. You just put a little bit in with some water in a spray bottle, and then just spray down anything that's going to touch your sauce. So we got the lids there, and then also spray into the bottle. And make sure you shake it around and make sure that it gets everywhere. And then just let any excess come out. And all you need to do is let it sit for, I think it's 2 minutes, and then it should be all sanitized, and you do not want to rinse that out. You'll see some bubbles in here, which is totally normal. That means it's working. So just let that sit. And also we're going to sanitize our blender jar. So I'm using a Vitamix blender, so I'm just going to spray all around in there, and then let any excess drip out. And as it sits, more will collect on the bottom, so right before we use it, I'll pour the rest of that out. And then we also want to do our blender jar lid. mix it around, pour it out. All right, we should be ready to get our sauce blended. Let's move on to the next step. All right, let's open her up and see what we have. All right, so we've got that cam yeast on the top. You can see that. So I am not gonna blend that in there. So I'm gonna try and scrape some of that out. So I'm just using a plastic, this is a 1 tablespoon, and I've already sprayed it with Star San, so it's nice and sanitized. So I'm just gonna scrape out as much of that as I can. And again, it's not harmful. You can blend it in if you want, but it might give it a little bit of an off flavor, so I'm gonna try and remove that. Okay, and then we have the weight in there, so I'm gonna try and get that out. And I put on some gloves to protect my fingers. Let's see how it smells. It smells good. Nice and gingery. I can smell the ginger in there. All right. Now some people like to remove the brine and just blend the peppers, but I'm gonna blend all of it. If there was a lot of brine in there, I might drain some of it out, but I think there's a good amount. So I'm just gonna pour all of that into the blender. All right, and then where's our lid? Okay. I'm gonna start out on a slow speed and then work our way up. I'm gonna let this blend for about a minute on high speed. All right, looks like it's blended pretty well. Now one thing I wanted to mention, if you want a sauce that does not separate, so most sauces, if you don't add anything else to it, it's gonna separate after some time. I'll show you one here that has separated. You can see how much, what looks like water on the top, and then there's all the stuff on the bottom. That's what happens if you let it sit for a while and you don't add any emulsifier. So if I shake it up, it looks fine and it'll taste fine. But some people don't like that separation, and I've only done this once before, but you can add some xanthan gum, just a small pinch of xanthan gum to the blender while it's blending, and that will take care of any separation issues. So here's one. This is one that I bottled up just recently, and this one I did add a pinch of the xanthan gum, and I haven't noticed any kind of separation. It's actually a lot thicker of a sauce, but some people do it, some people don't. I do it sometimes, but I'm not going to do it to this one. This sauce I'm not going to be giving away or selling or anything. So now let's go on to the next step. Okay, before we go any further, I wanted to show you one other thing that I do. I like to check the pH of the hot sauce to make sure that it's shelf stable. We want to make sure that it's below, they say 4.5, but I like mine to be around 3.5 at least. So I'm using these kombucha test strips, and that is the right pH range. So I'm going to just stick a strip in there and then check the back to see what it is. Now it looks like it's probably, the color looks closest to the 3.0. So these are in increments of 0.5, which is not super accurate. So yeah, it looks like 3.0 on this scale. I also have another pH meter that I like to use. I haven't used it actually for hot sauce before, so I think I'll give it a try. This is what I use for my mead making. And these are only, like, you can get these for $20 on Amazon. I already sterilized this with the Star San, so it's nice and clean. So I'm just going to stick this in, and you have to leave it in for about 30 seconds or so. So it's showing 4.2 right now, but it's still going down. That's at 4.1, 4.0. As long as we're under 4.5, we should be okay. Looks like it stopped at 4.0. It's not as low as I thought it would be, but it should be fine. To just go with the test strips, that would probably be the easiest way to test the pH. Just make sure you get the right range, because there's a lot of different test strips out there, and if the range isn't correct, then it's not going to work for this. Some people, there's a lot of different ways you can do it. Some people like to cook this before they bottle, and one reason they do that is to make sure that all of the fermentation is done. Some people don't ferment all the way, so it may still be fermenting, and cooking it will kill the fermentation, but it also kills any probiotics that are in the hot sauce. So I tend not to cook it most of the time. If you're going to be selling it, I would probably recommend that you definitely cook it just to be safe. So let's get our bottles, and you'll see that there's still some liquid that kind of rested on the bottom. So I'm just going to pour that out into the sink. And we're going to use a funnel. You definitely want to use a funnel or you'll make a mess for sure. So I've already sprayed my funnel with the Star San to sterilize it. And we'll just stuff it. Make sure you get one that fits into your bottle. And we're just going to start pouring. And you want to make sure that you pour very slowly, because this can overflow pretty easily. And another reason I don't like to cook it is because the amount of your hot sauce will be reduced because of the cooking. And I only made 1 pint of this hot sauce, so I don't want to lose any more than I have to. And if you don't cook it, to be safe, you may want to keep it in the refrigerator, and that will slow down any fermentation that is still going on. Oh, I forgot to empty the excess Star San. A few drops in there. This is barely going to make, it's not even going to make 3 full bottles. I'm definitely going to keep this sauce for myself. It should be a good one. There's still a little bit stuck to the side of the jar, so I want to get every last bit of that out. So I'm going to go grab a small spatula. So since this last bottle isn't completely full, oh, I'm already making a mess. I'm going to keep this last bottle in the fridge, and I'll be using this one first. Another thing, if your pH ends up being too high, like say it was 4.8 or 5 or something like that, what you can do to lower it is add some vinegar. And there's a lot of people that do add vinegar to their hot sauces, and that will lower the pH. So after you add it, you can check the pH again and make sure that it's low enough. And if you don't want to worry about pH, that's fine too. I didn't test my pH on my first few bottles. Just make sure I would keep it in the fridge if you don't check your pH, just to be safe. Alright, so I think we're done bottling. Now we need to just clean off the tops of the bottles, and I'm going to just take a paper towel and spray it a couple times with Star San. Or you can just use water if you don't have star san, or actually you could use vinegar, spray it with some vinegar, that would work, and just clean off the tops of the bottles. Okay, and then we grab our plate of lids. And first I'm going to shake off any excess star san and put on the inner cover. I think they call it entrance reducer maybe, or I don't remember what they're technically called. So this is the one that's going to go in the fridge. And these the ones that are full, I'm just going to leave them out. And you want to kind of stir, or just kind of spin them around a little bit, because there are some air bubbles that are sitting in here. And as they rest, you may notice that there will be more air towards the top, and it'll look like there's less sauce in there than what you poured originally. So what I can do is, once everything settles, I'll take this half bottle and then just fill that up the rest of the way after they sit for a couple days. And that's all we do. Well, you can see the bottle. I don't know if you can see that little air bubbles coming to the top. So this one has a lot of air bubbles here on the top. So one thing that when you cook it, those air bubbles tend to go away. But we're just gonna let them sit here. I also have some shrink bands that I'll put around these, but I'm gonna wait until all the air goes to the top before I add those on. And that's all there is to bottling hot sauce. Hope you enjoyed it. Thanks for watching, and we'll talk to you again soon. And we're back. So I thought you might want to see me try the hot sauce now that it's ready, so I can let you know what I think. So we've got a spoon here and the hot sauce. So I'm just going to put a few dabs of the hot sauce on the spoon here and give it a try. It definitely tastes a lot like kimchi. So if you like kimchi, you would definitely like this hot sauce. It's got a little bit of heat, not super spicy at all. So when you add it to something, it's gonna be hardly spicy at all. But it's really good. I think it would go great on eggs or any kind of vegetable probably. Maybe some pak choi. I get the garlic and the ginger in there, and yeah, I really like it. We'll definitely make some more next year, a bigger batch. Thanks for watching, and we will talk to you again soon. Be sure to like and subscribe if you enjoyed this video.